All right, are we live? I hope we're live. I am going to certainly, yeah. This is not going to be a pleasant subject for those who are basically under attack and cannot take this anymore. And this is going to be important. So please stay with me and bear with me. The demons have been really preparing for summer solstice and really just preparing for a full out attack for the Ring of Fire, and Satanists are really getting at it, and nightmares are really getting bad. For some of you, it's sexual. For some of you, it's violent. For others, it's really bad. For other things, for the main point, it's going to be sexual oriented and mostly violent oriented. There's going to be really bad nightmares out there, and there's also going to be some serious stuff going on after that Sunday. This Sunday, I meant to say. So let me just stick to it clear right now. This is not fear mongering. This is actually speaking the facts. Look at Chelsea Bedell for more information. Like I said, look at Chelsea Bedell for more information. For the fact is, we have Satanists trying to make their agenda clear, that they're going to have people being attacked by demons and all kinds of horrible hexes, and they're trying to get the children of God to no longer be children of God. They're trying their best to actually deter people away from being a child of God, especially those who are weak, and especially those who are not truly saved, because their agenda is to have at least have as little people saved from God as possible. And the scary truth is, there's no truth to Satanism. It's only delusion that makes you feel good. It makes you feel good, and it makes you happy to be evil, to take the children of God away, to hate God forever, and they want everyone else to be like them. This is becoming a more and more usual occurrence to have someone find out to be a Satanist. I would say I was not an original Satanist, but I was a Satanist back in 2002 to 2008. I'm familiar in some of these areas. And so some of you know that I had a backstory to this. I actually had an upside down prayer against the church, and I am not happy about that, but I'm happy that I'm truly saved and actually saving as many people as possible. Because let me just tell you one thing right now, and after I tell this, I will tell you how to do this. Once you get salvation, once you truly get salvation and you believe in the cross, that's it. You're sealed forever, and you're no longer going back. This is what the Satanists do know, and they are terrified of the fact that someone might not, be, able to basically. What I'm trying to say is they're not going to get back to them in a truly safe sense. So they're going to try to scare them as much as possible, or try to pervert them as much as possible, so that they're not as efficient. They want as little people as safe as possible, like I said. So they're doing their hexes and witchcraft and their prayers to Satan against all these things. All these things are true and light and filled with light. And I'm noticing a difference in the Sunday sermon, so bear with me. So these demons and spirits are casting out confusion. They're like I am, getting confusion right now. There's when I was driving with someone, there was a lady that buzzed right past a stoplight. I didn't see it either. Not saying who it was. I'm not saying where she is, what car she has, But, there was someone that went buzzing past the car light, and that's that. That person had confusion just right on them, and I have the same thing, So bear with me. So the first thing, one of the things they're casting out is confusion, violence, malice, all kinds of horrible things, especially for the riots. So it's happening in dreams. So for my personal sake, pray against these spirits in your dreams, especially before you have the dreams. Actually, pray to God. If you're not part of the ministry, pray to God that you are sealed against these demons, that you're not confused or not. Basically, if you have a ministry, to not have this kind of problem and not show it, improve it, then pray against these spirits that are attacking you in these dreams every night before you go to sleep. Pray for God's protection, for the mightiest angels to come to you, and quite honestly, just keep on praying like this is the end of the world, because this might be the last day you have to get to basically dream. Jesus is coming. Truly is. I mean, look at the world. There's rioting, there's looting, there's arson, there's anarchy, savagery, Satanism. What else? There's what was the other word for it? There's anarchy. There's also like vandalism and all that. Not prostitution. What is it called? There's a lot of people becoming different sexes. So it's basically perversion and disobeying parents. There's a whole bunch of things. And there's also weather patterns like fire, earthquakes, like storms, hurricanes, tornadoes more than usual. And the list goes on and on and on. Hailstorms. Not only that, we have the signs in the heavens, and stars, and stars falling to the earth, blood moon, solar flares, basically also eclipses, things like that. They're happening more than usual. We had telescopes back in the 70s and 80s. We did not have this quite amount of knowledge back in the medieval times, but we had a amount of people that had kept record of these weird events in the skies that we have today. And that's actually a funny thing, because we have more of those today than we had every 100 years. So basically we had more this year than we had in 100 years in the medieval times, Just saying. More events in the sky, I meant to say. So basically, if there's like two or three, they had two or three back in the 100 years, and that, it really was. There really wasn't that much. And to have a solar eclipse or to have a blood moon, they thought it was the end of the world. Today we're seeing more than, I would say, there's eclipse for 1 year, and then there's blood moon for another. It's happening at random, but not really at random. It's happening every single aspect of the year. And the sun is becoming sackcloth. People even thought that sun becoming sackcloth was the end of the world back then. But, it's happening more frequently. Like every decade, it's happening more like 500 years. It's only becoming more infrequent. So for this very interesting Ring of Fire, the Satanists are praying against us, and we should pray against them, because our God is stronger. Our Lord Jesus is much stronger than Satan, and we should know that. What else? It's saying that there's earthquakes and there's wars on Earth, and then there's also things happening in the ocean that doesn't usually happen, like all this pollution in this earth, and and especially in the ocean, that's killing these animals. You know, things that should not happen. I mean, they're banning straws, but that's nothing compared to banning actual plastic. I know, I know. Plastic is the main cause of ocean destruction. Not cool. Anyway, so basically, I'm praying to God that we should keep praying to God that we don't get nightmares. And I honestly pray to God that I don't get any nightmares. I mean, nightmares are getting completely frequent to everyone. Not just me, but most people are having all kinds of nightmares. I mean, more frequent than usual. And demonic activities are happening more and more frequently because it's not the number of demons that are possessing the world these days. It's actually the actual times they want to attack us. There are more demons in the world than there are humans. However, there's a lot of humans in the world. So, I don't know, they actually invented fake, I'll do this. They invented a system for the false church, the Gnostics first, the knowledge. Then they invented things like Catholicism and then false church and Pope and, all that stuff. And then later, they invented atheism. They invented, what else? I think the atheism was next. And then after that, they invented technology. Then they invented Satanism and all kinds of other subliminal things in every single aspect of the world since 1948 and 1947. But all in others since 1948. Only one in 1947. And just remember that we're having more problems today than usual because, you have a laptop, you have a phone, you have a watch, and your watch is a computer. Please. Sorry, just lost. So basically, everyone has anything smaller than a laptop, and most people have laptops or smaller. Almost everyone has a laptop smaller, and you'll get the message somehow. And I would say praying against the satanic rituals, that'll do you very well because we have to go on mass prayer because the Satanists are doing it as well. They're going in mass prayers. They're sacrificing babies. They're sacrificing ladies. The funny thing with the Satanists is they have an agenda. Oh, come on, be live. They have an agenda to have people only becoming beasts and people only becoming robots. People like that. They love the darkness more than light. And yet we, as a light, love the light more than darkness. Because my if I had more than 100 subscribers, like let's say I had close to 200, like which I have right now, that would only account for the small portion of the world population. That would not even be a town or a village. It would possibly be a village, but not really. But if I had 70,000 subscribers, that'd be awesome. But that'd be a lot more responsibility. Oh man, that'll be a lot more responsibility. And the more responsibility you have with people, I do to me as well. So the more people we have, the more responsibility you get towards helping them. So my final message to you is, before I leave, this is how to get salvation, and to forever have salvation, and to not lose it, and be stuck with it forever, and to be stuck with Jesus forever, and to be stuck to go to heaven forever. This is how. Know that you're a sinner. That's the easy part for some of you. Then the next thing is a little bit harder, but still simple, is to basically believe in the cross. This is two. That was one. This is two. Believe in the cross. Know that Jesus died for you for all your sins, that he was perfected, and that he became sin to God's eyes, so that he would be perfect, and that he became sin so that we could become guilt-free, and that he laid it upon the grave and on the cross. And so one thing had to be destroyed. So that was the city in the Abraham's bosom. So that's no longer. So yeah, believe that you're a sinner. Know that you're a sinner. Acknowledge that. So turn from that and believe in Jesus Christ for redemption. Believe in the cross, and know that Jesus died for you, and that you're no longer a sinner by believing that Jesus became sin for you, and that he alone is the salvation that you need. And the last thing is, admit to him that you basically say, Jesus, I want to become part of you. Confess to him, and also proclaim his word, that you are indeed with Jesus, and that Jesus is the way. Proclaim it to everyone. That should become natural to you. Also, basically, just by saying, Jesus, you are my Lord, and believing upon the cross, and knowing that you're a sinner, that nanosecond, you're completely saved, like Tim Henderson says. Because once you believe that Jesus died for you and that you are saved, and once you proclaim Jesus as your Lord of your life, in that way, you are redeemed forever. There's no turning back. You're stuck with that forever. Remember that, okay? Okay, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.